The Boilermakers added 25 new players to their roster today, signing letters of intent from 23 high school seniors and 2 junior college transfers. As of right now, it's the best-ranked recruiting class at Purdue in the last 5 years, and it could get even better with some portal additions coming in. So, great day for the Boilermakers, great day for the football program, and we're pleased to be joined by Coach Ryan Walters. We're going to talk with the head coach here in just a couple of minutes, not only about the recruiting class, but also about the portal situation, about the NIL situation right now, trying to retain your own roster. We'll talk a little bit about the off-season schedule and also a look ahead to that 2024 Purdue football season. You can follow along tonight. We're on Facebook. If you go to Purdue Athletics, we are there, so you can let us know where you're watching. If you have a question for the coach, and if you have completed your holiday shopping yet. We'll have the head coach back with us next. It is the Ryan Walters Show presented by the Rohrman Automotive Group on the Purdue Global Sports Network from Learfield.
Win if one of these teams can make it.
On 2nd and 8, Luke Altmaier. Look out, he's under pressure. He lost the football. It'll be touchdown Purdue.
Dial this one up. You're just going to see the cornerback come into your screen. Untouched, unblocked, and again, as you can see, swipes at the ball as well. This Ryan Walters defense wanted to come in, wanted to create more turnovers.
Team, not just the offense, but the Purdue team. And a really slow start to last week's game. They were better in the second half. As Tyrone Tracy knocked out of bounds and then tackled after the fact. Meeting the Big Ten West clash. As Hudson Card has time, has a receiver over the middle. He finds his tight end. Sets up 3rd and 7. Card looking long. And it's caught.
All the smoke. He wants all the big-time receivers.
Time they find a spot through and a big shoulder from Dylan Downing. Touchdown.
Again, he's just going to take this ball here and go take the inside zone play out the front side. Actually, that was a counter play. And again, look how he fills it.
Just the 2nd penalty today. Charge to Purdue. Card, end zone, open, touchdown. Garrett Miller and Purdue.
Looking right down the middle of the field, wide open. Here he is right here. You're just going to see him take an inside release and go down the middle of the field. He gets lost in the zone and gets behind the Illinois defense. Hudson Card with a perfect pass, dropped it right in the bucket.
Charge to Illinois. Card looking long, looking for Burks. Got it! Deion Burks makes the play.
Welcome back to the Ryan Walters Show. We're live at Walk-Ons in the Purdue Memorial Union, where it's always game day with a taste of Louisiana. The 2023 Purdue football season is presented by Purdue Global, Purdue's online university for working adults. Earn a degree you're proud of and employers respect. Start your comeback today at purdueglobal.edu. We are joined by the head coach, and let's get right to it. Ryan, good day for the Boilermakers today. I think listening to you earlier on, you're excited about this class. It's the guys that you wanted to get. It's the guys that you needed to get at certain positions. Your overall thoughts, though, on this signing class today?
Well, first, my overall thoughts are congratulations, 1,000 games
Thank
today.
you.
Can we give Tim a round of applause for 1,000 games?
I had black hair when this all started, you know. But I tell people I started when I was 10 years old. They don't believe me, so it's okay.
Yeah, obviously, like this class was a lot easier to fill than this time last year. So I thought we were able to strategically find needs and fill holes where maybe numbers were thin or small, and we attacked the things that we needed to attack from a roster standpoint to be able to go compete and hopefully win championships here. And so I'm pleased with where we are in year one. Obviously, we still got room to grow, but definitely I feel like the foundation is laid, and I'm looking forward to the future.
I thought one of the more interesting answers you had today in questions at the press conference, somebody asked you about where you are right now as compared to where you were a year ago. You're a year and 6 days into this job, and you think about taking a new job and trying to sign a class and getting the job less than a week before signing day. I mean, you've got to feel a lot better about not only what you've got talent-wise, but also your ability to see what you've got on your roster.
Absolutely. I think, to think of where we were a year ago in 6 days, I'm like, I can't believe it. I would not feel prepared knowing what I know now and seeing the work that we put in to get to where we are today. A year ago, you're trying to maintain a roster and maintain the commitments that we're already committed here. And so you can't really attack the transfer portal, and not only because you don't know the roster, but you don't have any kind of NIL substance.
Right.
And so, every communication we've had from a transfer portal standpoint, you don't get in those conversations unless you have a strong collective. And so everybody we will end up signing, there not only will be here, the January 8th for the start of class, but there are guys that had multiple offers and multiple opportunities to go at other, multiple Power 5 programs. And so you don't even get in those conversations unless you have a strong NIL. So definitely pleased with where we are from that standpoint, and excited.
Let's start, since this is a statewide program and we've got radio stations all over the state, let's talk about your 4 Indiana players first. And in no particular order, we'll go with Donovan Hamilton, a wide receiver that was kind of a late addition from Hamilton Southeastern High School.
Yeah, the onus is still always, and the priority is still going to lie in the state of Indiana, just so everybody's on the same page. We're on the same page with you. I believe that the collegiate model of having success year in and year out is taking care of your in-state, your state school, and so the onus is been on Indiana guys, and Donovan Hamilton is a guy that made a huge leap from his junior to his senior year. So what that tells me is that he's got a high work ethic. He was a basketball kid that is 6'3" and is pushing 6'4" and is dunking on everybody. So he had hoop dreams as I did when I was 5'11". You know what I mean? So. But I think he understands his skill set and where his future lies. And so he put in the work, and that was what was awesome to see. And so, we're looking at it at the end of the year and evaluating his senior tape, and I'm sitting there like holy cow, right now we're looking for that same guy that's in the portal. And so, to think about what Donovan will be 3 years from now it gets you really excited. And you're happy with where he's at now, but 3 years from now it gets you really excited. And so we had other guys that were committed at that position that were not in this state.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's like, man, you watch Donovan's tape, you watch other people's tape. The math wasn't mathing. And so it's like, why would we pass over this kid that's right down the road to go attract somebody else when you got him right in your backyard? And so that was the decision we made. And got him on a trip, got to know his family, and it was easy, organic to develop a real relationship with them, and I'm happy he's going to be here.
You signed another 6'4" guy who has 120 pounds or so on Donovan. That's Jordan King. He's an offensive lineman from Fort Wayne North. What stands out about him?
Another athletic, bigger guy. He's also a basketball player. So to say an offensive lineman is a starter on their basketball team, that's pretty impressive. So he's got some toughness, some tenacity, some versatility. I think he can play multiple positions up front, and he's been a really good glue for the class. So happy he's coming.
All right, we've got 2 more players from the state to talk about and a whole bunch of other things. Stay with us. It is the Ryan Walter Show, presented by the Rohrman Automotive Group on the Purdue Global Sports Network from Learfield.
Maccabee checks into the game at running back. Card. Pump fake to the left, now looking straight down the middle of the defense and throws a touchdown. A day for the tight end so far. It's Garrett Miller.
2 running backs in the game. One goes this way, one goes this way. Fake the screen to the left, fake the screen to the right, and there's your tight end. He runs that delay tight end screen in the middle. It's a great design. Pump left, pump right, reset. There's your tight end, Garrett Miller, right down the pipe.
1st and 10. Call has time. Call looking toward the end zone, and this is caught for the touchdown. What a grab it was. T.J. Sheffield with a terrific route, and a penalty marker is down.
These guys block back. I'm going to kick out. You go north and south. Really nice job by the Boilermakers.
Picked up of 17. Now right after it, called down the field. And that is caught now inside the 10. What a play it was by Tyrone Tracy getting behind the defense. Why not give him the football. Tracy in for the touchdown.
Wow.
Straight down the field goes Purdue.
They're making some timely plays with their feet throughout this game.
Maccabee gets the ball. Maccabee with the lane. Now Maccabee bursting down the sideline. It's a sprint to the end zone. Can Maccabee get there? And he is dragged down at just about the one. They're going to say he's just short. Card, keeping himself. Touchdown, Purdue. Dorm on campus. Handoff. Maccabee. They call him Crazy Legs, but Crazy Legs can run. Maccabee out across midfield. Hard guy to tackle. Tyler.
The Rohrman Automotive Group is supporting your Boilermakers as the presenting sponsor of the Ryan Walter Show and proud partner of Purdue Athletics. Rohrman Automotive Group, boiler up and hammer down. Two more players from the state of Indiana to talk about. Hadori Hines is a defensive back from Franklin Central High School. What does he bring to the table for you?
Size, length, and speed. You know, he's a football guy that's got track times. He's 6'2", 185 pounds. And the thing that I like most about him is he was the first commit of this class. You know, guy down the road who, when he walks in the building, he looks like a mature Power 5, Big Ten corner. And so to watch him progress, and he really buckled down and tackled his academics to be able to have an opportunity to come to Purdue, and really fired up about his entry to our program. You know, I got a feeling he's going to make an impact immediately. Another
guy from the Indianapolis area is Spencer Porath. Now, he is from Brownsburg. He's a kicker, but he's a pretty good athlete in addition to being a great kicker.
And that's why I love him. You know, I've been around some pretty good kickers just in my collegiate career, whether it's playing or coaching. Mason Crosby, who you know, I played with at Colorado, later on got drafted by the Green Bay Packers and has had a stellar career. And then Jake Elliott, when I was at Memphis, who's currently still the kicker for the Eagles and a Super Bowl champion. You know, those guys were athletes first and then kickers. And you see the same with Spencer. And what that means is, you know, when you go through mat drills, they fit in.
Yeah.
And so because of that, they also have the same type of competitive edge, competitive mindset, where you thrive in high-pressure, high-stakes situations. And obviously for a place kicker, you need to have that sort of, you know, chip on your shoulder, clutch gene, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
And, Spencer definitely has that. He's athletic as all get out, multiple sport athlete, and we can't wait to get him on campus.
When you look at recruiting classes, I think most eyes immediately go to see who's the quarterback or who are the quarterbacks coming in. You got Marcos Davila out of Midland, Texas, a guy with size, 6'3", 230 pounds. What does he bring for you?
Yeah, Marcos Davila. Don't call him Davila when he gets up here. You get me in trouble. But you know, Marcos is, like you said, 6'3", 220 plus, more athletic than people give him credit for, but really, really big arm, and not just like strong and can push the ball down the field, but extremely accurate, can make all the throws, you know, puts touch on the ball when it's necessary, and he's thrown for over 9,000 yards in his career in high school, so he's logged a lot of really good quality reps where he's been successful, so he's got confidence. He's got some moxie to him. You know, he's a high school Texas, West Texas, Midland, like they breathe, eat, sleep, breathe football down there, and he's a great one. So I'm excited that he's here. Kudos to Graham and the offensive staff for really putting a plan and showing him exactly how he fits in this offense. And we can't wait to get him here, and he'll be here that first week of January.
Well, I'll send an apology to Marcos. That's what you get for believing the internet. When you find out how to pronounce somebody's name.
Don't say Davila.
No, Davila. Marcos Davila. I have a feeling we're going to be seeing that a lot. Overall, you want to upgrade at every position. What were the biggest needs coming into this year in terms of the high school class?
The high school class, well, you had needs all across the board from a high school standpoint.
Right.
Like, I still want this to be a developmental program. You know, we knew that the first two classes would have to be dipped into the portal pretty heavy just because of the lack of numbers we had from that senior year into that freshman year on the roster. Like the junior senior class was almost non-existent. So we signed 23 guys from high school this signing period. And so we're excited. It's all across the board, offense, defense. I think we're pretty even within the numbers on who we have committed. And it stretches all across the board in terms of every position group.
You've got high school players that are very important. Certainly portal players are very important, but there's still that junior college guy in between. You got two of those at the offensive line. First of all, you got a little bit more development going on there because they're usually a little physically stronger than your high school seniors coming in. But what do you expect from these two guys coming in this year on your offensive line?
Yeah, to provide depth and competition, and you know, what I love about ball is, like, you know, your job on the depth chart is not owned, it's rented, and rent is due every day. So they'll have the opportunity to come in and compete. We're going to find the 5 best combination to go help us win a championship next year in the Big Ten, and at least those guys are athletic enough to do so. And when you get off the bus, they're big enough to do so in this conference. And so I was happy that we identified them early. I think the junior college recruits are kind of overshadowed right now because of the transfer portal. Like old school ball, when you couldn't transfer as freely as you can now, that was junior college.
Right.
And so, you know, we were able to identify those guys, and conversely, like after we offered them, the floodgates opened. I mean, you know, Jaquan is a Mississippi kid who had offers from Arkansas, Ole Miss, Mississippi State, Auburn, and he chose to come to Purdue. So that speaks volumes for what Marcus Johnson is doing with the offensive line room, and for what this university can do for student athletes across the country.
You can teach a lot. You can't teach size. Rod Green comes in at 6'5", 315. You mentioned Jaquan Bolden, 6'6", 350 pounds. He's going to be a road grader for you up front.
Absolutely. And so I'm glad those are both guys that will be here in January as well. Sometimes you worry about that with the junior college transfers is academically, will they be ready to enroll at semester? And so they'll be here in January. They'll get 9 weeks of workouts with Coach Rowe before we hit spring ball. And, you know, that time, that experience is invaluable.
All right, we're coming to you from Walk-Ons in the Purdue Memorial Union. More with the coach after this. It's the Ryan Walter Show, presented by Rohrman Automotive Group on the Purdue Global Sports Network from Learfield.
Edie at a very high rate. Off the screen, pull up, pop, money, right off the bat. And both the Lawyer, Edie, another touch, working on Ballo. Drop step, can't finish. Put back there, Trey Kaufman-Wren. Convert on the 3 ball, another second chance opportunity. Lawyer on the drive, probes through, hangs and hits. Edie thought about it, gets rid of it. Lawyer, open, deep shot. Oh yeah! This Arizona offense so potent. There's Edie on a touch, forced it all the way through.
Who's going to look for those middle post-ups all afternoon?
Lawyer jumps the pass. Lawyer takes it in and puts it through.
Oh, you like action? We have got action in this one. There's some tired bodies out there. How about Fletcher Lawyer showing the defense on that play?
And now it's Edie on the steal. Purdue looking to run. Morton parking in the corner. Leave it. Edie, great pass inside. And the finish from Gillis. How about the first half? Handoff. Lawyer. Slither of space is Bjorn.
Oh, Arizona.
Jones misses. Caleb first has given some. Smith looking inside, finds Edie, working against Ballo, just goes right to his spot, counting and a foul.
Umar Ballo going up and tearing the rim off.
Lawyer, big response. Circles around, Smith, show, stop, up and under, puts it through. Full court pressure now from the Wildcats, broken with ease by Jones. Cross court, Lawyer, high off the window. He can do no wrong. Smith, pull up in transition. Second half, now a zone look from Arizona.
They're pulling everything out.
Lawyer makes him pay. Smith swinging around. Jones, a 3. He knocks it down. Lawyer will inbound. Get it in for Smith. Right back to Lawyer, and they break that pressure immediately. Jones on the
Welcome back to the Ryan Walter Show. We're live at Walk-Ons in the Purdue Memorial Union. Everyone needs a little playing time. Purdue Athletics would like to thank and recognize members of the Black and Gold Club who support Purdue Athletics through their sponsorship at the highest level. Black and Gold Club members include Indiana Packers, Molson Coors, Purdue Federal Credit Union, Purdue Global, Rohrman Automotive Group, and Wabash each are great partners of Purdue Athletics. Ryan, let's take a look quickly at Facebook. Kurt is congratulating you on the solid class, and I'm sure a lot of Boilermaker fans would agree with that. Stephen from Watertown, Massachusetts. Daniel from Hillsdale, Michigan. Kurt, by the way, says his holiday shopping is over as of 2 hours ago. So is mine, but it's just a couple of clicks on a button, so it's really nothing to shout about. Matt is in Syracuse. Ira in Swamico, Wisconsin. Zach in Lake Susie, Florida. Matt from Wake Forest, North Carolina. Judy from Glen Lake, Michigan. Brett says Boiler up. And John from Murrieta, California talks about how big the linemen were. And again, we agree with that. Brett is watching in Waleska, Georgia. And Diane, I think she is down in Austin, Texas. And then Don from over in Illinois. He does have a question. What role does a general manager play in recruiting and in roster management in college football in these days? You're looking over to your general manager right now.
Hey, Noah, come here, man. Come here, man. We're going to do a little impromptu
See,
here.
There we go. There we go. Noah Joseph.
Noah
Let's
Joseph.
give a round of
applause
applause
for our general manager, Noah Joseph.
All right.
So
the question was, Noah, what role does a general manager play in recruiting and in roster management in college football these days? So let's talk about that. What is your role in terms of recruiting?
It's all encompassing. It's amazing just right now with the landscape, right?
Yep.
With you have NIL, transfer portal, and it goes hand in hand. And people don't say it does, but it does. And so just trying to navigate that, help coach with everything he needs to roster management and replace everybody that leaves.
You have to be a little bit of a mathematician to do this because you have to be able to count from 1 to 85. You have 85 scholarships to give. You also have a certain amount of NIL money with which to work. So it's almost like you've become a capologist now in the pros these days, and that's a big part of every front office.
There's no doubt, and unfortunately I cheated my way through Excel in college, and it's come back to bite me. But no, we put together a comprehensive Excel spreadsheet talking about both NIL and our roster, and then trying to project of what kind of numbers we need to replace.
So I think the coach mentioned, we'll get him back here in just a second, but he mentioned there is still a little bit of room because you always want to have a couple of roster spots available. You never know in 2023, 2024 who's going to become available.
There's no doubt. I always say we're in the talent acquisition business. And anytime we can find a good player, we're going to figure out a way to get them.
Well, Noah, we thank you for coming up, explaining your role to us. And by the way, congratulations again. This is a pretty outstanding recruiting class you brought in this year.
We have a great staff that puts everything together, and it starts really with the top down. That's what makes Purdue special, just the alignment from the board of trustees to our AD to Coach Walters and all that. So it makes our jobs a lot easier.
All right, how about another round of applause for our general manager, Noah Joseph? Thank you. And it was impromptu. It's live radio. You just never know what's going to happen next. We talked maybe the last couple of shows of the season. You were very honest about where Purdue was in terms of NIL money, and it was not good compared to the rest of the conference.
No, it was not good.
It's better now.
It's way better now. So thank you for Purdue for hearing and listening. Not only hearing but listening to what is real. And like I said earlier, the commitments that we have specifically from the transfer portal. Like, you don't even get on the phone to have a conversation with the guys we're bringing in unless you have some sort of help from the collective. And as a result, we have targeted and gotten committed some really high-profile, talented individuals that are good character guys that will add to the culture. And one thing I love about Purdue, it helps you evaluate and weed out the guys that are not about ball for the right reasons, because – like Purdue it is not an easy academic institution, so you have to be dialed in. Let's just be honest. There is not a whole lot going on in West Lafayette, right? Like it is hard. You're going to have to find distractions to be distracted, right? It is a place that cultivates growth, that the community gets behind. And so if you want to come and lock in and better yourself academically and get developed for football and do the things that are necessary to grow as a young man, then Purdue is the place for you. And so when you go identify those guys in the transfer portal that come to campus and see the things that I fall in love with this place for themselves firsthand, because this is one of the last best kept secrets in college ball. You know, you have an opportunity to sign and help develop some really high profile, talented individuals. And so, you know, thank you for the Boilermaker Alliance. Thank you for everybody that has donated and that continues to donate. Like, you have changed the trajectory and the course of this program. And, you know, we still have some guys that are committed that nobody really knows about.
Yep.
That I think people would be really happy and excited about. And again, we are not in those conversations without everybody's financial support going into the Boilermaker Alliance.
We all like nice holiday surprises. A couple more packages we can unwrap here before too long.
I hope so.
All right.
I hope so. We'll see.
All right, we're going to have more with the head coach after this. It's the Ryan Walters Show, presented by the Rohrman Automotive Group on the Purdue Global Sports Network from Learfield.
10 leader in sacks even after missing action last week. Sorsby on third down, it's intercepted. Dylan Thieneman nearly makes Sorsby miss and is pushed out of bounds inside the 15-yard line.
Not official yet, but you can book it. Now you're going to see Sorsby under pressure. He's looking to his left. There's two receivers in the same place. That is never.
1st and 10. Burhan again, and he makes Dunham miss. He makes more miss, and the freshman scores for Purdue.
Open, and then it's again with the missed tackles. He should be down right there. He breaks that. He should be down right there. He breaks that, and he gets into the end zone.
Ironically, Indiana netted 2 yards even with the penalty because it took place so far downfield. 2nd and 3. Sorsby. And was it intercepted? No, it was incomplete. Kobe was the intended receiver.
What a play by Cam Allen. I mean, in the hip pocket, gets that head around and just pops that ball out into that left hand, and then that right knee hits.
Bucket game between Purdue and Indiana. Purdue ball, 3rd down in the red zone. Card deals, end zone, touchdown, Purdue! Drew Bimmer, another tight end. Personified specifically with Brendan Sorsby, the Indiana quarterback. Rough in the beginning, then red hot, then rough towards the end of the 2nd quarter. This is a great return right here for Purdue's Dylan Downing. He's across midfield. Now they need to put their vocal cords to work and cheer on Purdue with a 4th and short, trying to keep this drive alive as we start the 4th quarter. A ball pass, Devin Mockabee, touchdown Purdue! 97 times now. Purdue starts this drive with a good hard run between the tackles. Tyrone Tracy is not done yet. Into Indiana territory. Aaron Casey takes him down. And Hudson Card has been really tough to bring down for Indiana's defensive line. He throws it deep for Deion Burks. It's caught. Card up the gut. Card! Touchdown! Purdue has the lead.
Thing off on the right foot, and then Card calls his own number, makes Aaron Casey miss, and walks right into the end zone to take the lead. A 4-point lead, so a field goal will not do for the Hoosiers.
He is the Big Ten leader in sacks even after missing action last week. Sorsby on 3rd down, it's intercepted. Dylan.
Welcome back to the Ryan Walters Show. This will be our last coaches show of any sort for the calendar year 2023. Don't forget the men's basketball team tomorrow night taking on Jacksonville in a 6:30 tip. Rob Blackman and Bobby Riddell have that one at 5:30. We won't have another Matt Painter or Katie Gerald show until January 22nd. So taking some time off for the holidays, and we'll be back here in about a month from now. You had some players receive postseason honors, and probably no one got more than Dylan Thieneman. You told us at the start of the season, I don't care what class they're in, going to put the best players on the field. I think it was pretty apparent early on. Dylan Thieneman was one of your best players.
Absolutely, and it's no secret. Like what you saw on Saturdays, or what we saw throughout the course of the week during practice. Practice habits become the game day reality. That's a saying that is widely used amongst the coaching profession, and nothing that statement was never more true than in terms of talking about Dylan Thieneman. And usually when you're that equipped and that elite at that level, you're elite across the board. You know, he's an engineering major, and we all know how hard that is here. And he's got a 4.0. So he's an A+ all around.
And he was named an All-American, third-team All-American by the Associated Press. He was the Freshman of the Year in the Big Ten. Not a surprise there. Nick Scorton, also a guy that got some pretty considerable mention. Nick Scorton's a guy I think he's still scratching the surface a little bit, but, man, there's a lot of talent there.
Scratching the surface. I mean, he led the Big Ten in sacks. I don't know what PFF was talking about. But, you know, really those two guys, if you look at just their numbers and the impact they had and the difference between them and their peers, I can't fathom why they weren't first-team all-conference and why they weren't first-team all-American type players. Is it because Dylan was a true freshman and Nick a true sophomore, and they weren't on people's preseason awards list? I don't know, but if you just look at the tape and you just look at the numbers, they blew everybody else out of the water.
Well, I can tell you each of them got at least one first-team vote because I have a vote in the media poll. So talk about the development over the season. We talked a lot, and again, the quarterbacks get a lot of praise, get a lot of criticism. Hudson Card played hurt a lot of the season. But we saw, I think, in the month of November what he was capable. And when you couldn't play him against Northwestern, we saw the difference that it made there.
You know, it's funny when you see quarterbacks that transfer that have 2 years specifically, because they're younger in their eligibility. There's a huge leap from year 1 to year 2. You know, you look at Joe Burrow at LSU that first year. Everybody was like, "What are we doing? Why do we take this guy?" And then the next year they win a national championship. The same thing with Jaden Daniels. You know, last year at LSU. You know, he's all right. You know, he's okay, and then all of a sudden he wins the Heisman, right? Now I'm not trying to put that kind of pressure on Hud, but I do think when you saw him healthy, you know, the first 3 games of the season, thought he played really well. You go into Illinois, he plays lights out, but he gets hurt that second series of the game,
right?
And then we are playing musical chairs with the offensive line as he's battling through injury. You can only imagine what that's like to see the shuffling in front of you, and you lose your best tight end in Max Clare for the year. You lose Abdur Yassin for the year, and now all of a sudden you got a bunch of new faces as you're trying to go play against Ohio State, against Michigan, against Nebraska. You know, who have these monstrous corn-fed defensive linemen, right? But when he settled down and when the offensive line sort of stayed consistent, you know, we didn't get healthy, but we stayed at least consistent for weeks in a row. You know, he felt comfortable going into the Minnesota game and confident and trustworthy. And so you saw how he played against Minnesota, and he still made some hero type plays, and then got banged up. You know what I mean? And you know, couldn't play against Northwestern, but comes back against Indiana, and you saw again just how creative he can be, how talented he is, and how guys rally around him, especially when he's playing the way he played.
And in order for him to be successful, he has to have weapons, and you've got to love what you got coming back in that tight end room. And we saw Max Clare before he went down with the injury, and I think we saw late in the season what George Burhenn is capable of doing as well.
Absolutely. You know, it was crazy. You know, TJ Sheffield obviously enters the portal the week of Indiana, and so George Byrne, who was playing tight end all season, we put in TJ's spot, and that position was more productive that day than it had been all season. So very, very hopeful and very optimistic about George's progress and what he'll do here as a Boilermaker.
And I don't want to leave Devin Mockabee out as we talk about the threats. As long as we can keep him away from too many of those chocolate chip pancakes that he's got that NIL deal with, right?
Yeah, Mock is he's Purdue through and through. He's what you want in the locker room. There's a bunch of guys on the team, man. Like when you talk, I know we've talked about NIL in terms of what it means from the transfer portal, but even more importantly, it is retention of your locker room.
Right.
Like we are all crazy to think, the guys you talked about, Dylan Thieneman, that he wasn't reached out to.
Yeah.
You know, Nick Scorton that he wasn't reached out to. You know, all these guys, Max Clare wasn't, you know, Gus Hardwig, KJ, like the guys that are in our locker room right now, they had options and more financial gain, if we're to be honest, in terms of if they would have entertained the transfer portal. So it speaks volumes to what this place can provide from an academic standpoint and a opportunity standpoint, and what we're building as a program, but also like what we are able to do from what the collective is able to do in terms of NIL support for our student athletes.
And I'm glad you mentioned Gus, because as you look at guys that solidify that offensive line, having him back next year is
pivotal.
huge.
Yeah, absolutely. And just his leadership, his experience, his talent. You know, I'm really looking forward to him being healthy for a full off season, and then going and playing and playing lights out for us in the fall.
All right, time for another break. It's the Ryan Walters Show, presented by the Rohrman Automotive Group on the Purdue Global Sports Network from Learfield.
Win if one of these teams can make it.
On 2nd and 8, Luke Altmaier. Look out, he's under pressure. He lost the football. It'll be touchdown, Purdue.
Dial this one up. You're just going to see the cornerback come into your screen. Untouched, unblocked, and again, as you can see, swipes at the ball as well. This Ryan Walters defense wanted to come in, wanted to create more turnovers.
Team, not just the offense, but the Purdue team. They had a really slow start to last week's game. They were better in the second half. As Tyrone Tracy knocked out of bounds and then tackled after the fact. Meeting the Big Ten West clash. As Hudson Card has time, has a receiver over the middle. He finds his tight end. Sets up 3rd and 7. Card looking long. And it's caught.
All the smoke. He wants all the big-time receivers.
This time they find a spot through and a big shoulder from Dylan Downing. Touchdown.
Again, he's just going to take this ball here and go take the inside zone play out the front side. Actually, that was a counter play. And again, look how he feels it.
Just the 2nd penalty today. Charge to Purdue. Card, end zone, open, touchdown. Garrett Miller and Purdue.
Looking right down the middle of the field, wide open. Here he is right here. You're just going to see him take an inside release and go down the middle of the field. He gets lost in the zone and gets behind the Illinois defense. Hudson Card with a perfect pass, dropped it right in the bucket.
Charge to Illinois. Card looking long, looking for Burks. Got it!
Welcome back to the Ryan Walters Show. We're live at Walk-Ons in the Purdue Memorial Union, where it's always game day with a taste of Louisiana. Time for the Pro Boilers feature, where we look at how former Purdue student athletes are doing in their professional sports careers. Pro Boilers is presented by Indiana Kitchen Premium Pork Products. Get to know us at indianakitchen.com. Both our Pro Boilers and Indiana Kitchen are boiler-made. How about Aiden O'Connell last Thursday? 20 of 34, 248 yards, 4 touchdown passes in the Raiders' win over the Chargers. 63-21 was the final. Aiden O'Connell with the 4 touchdown passes in one half. That has not been done by a Raider quarterback since the Mad Bomber, Darryl LaMonica, did it back in the 1960s. So that's a long time.
Yeah, I don't even know who those guys are.
I saw Darryl LaMonica play in the old AFL, so not. I am dating myself. It's okay. Raheem
You had
Mostert,
black hair back then.
I
right?
did have black hair back then, but I still have hair, so I'm really happy about that. Raheem Mostert with the Dolphins, 15 carries, 42 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Raheem Mostert has 18 rushing touchdowns. That is a single-season record for the Miami Dolphins. You think about this as a team that had Larry Zonka, Mercury Morris, Jim Kick. They've had some great running backs. Nobody has run for the Dolphins for 18 touchdowns. He's got 20 touchdowns altogether as the Dolphins beat the Jets. And Charlie Jones, playing for the Bengals, had 2 receptions for 10 yards and returned 2 punts for 18 yards in Cincinnati's overtime win over Minnesota. You talk about recruiting, what you can use to recruit. Boy, when you get some guys that are producing like that and people see them and they say their name and where they're from at the start of the broadcast, it can only help you.
Absolutely. Let's hope that trend continues.
Let's talk about the off-season schedule. Right now, everybody's heading home for the holidays. So, what have you done since the Indiana game, and what's the schedule now up until not just you, but the team in general? Yeah. What will you be doing up until spring practice starts?
The team has been going through finals and trying to finish out the year strong academically. And so once their finals are done, they can go home for break. We'll have a 7 p.m. team meeting on January 7th, the Sunday before school starts, which will be an interesting one because that team room is going to look a whole lot different.
Hi, my name is.
Yeah, exactly. I think we've got 22 guys that are coming that will be on the team for the first time. That'll be their first team meeting. So we might have to have it in the locker room just to introduce everybody with each other. Yeah. But we'll also have some academic updates, some house cleaning items with, our operations guy, Pete Rowley. And so as a staff, though, we've been obviously recruiting our butts off, and I've been doing a lot of speaking events to just talk about the importance of NIL and asking for people to donate to the Alliance, which has been a blessing. I think I'm batting 1,000 right now, so knock on wood that continues. And so that's what we've been doing, man, trying to find future Boilermakers to make Purdue faithful proud.
I know you've had very little spare time in the last few weeks. Somebody did ask, though, if you've been to a men's basketball game or two here this season.
I did go to a half of one. Again, I had some talks about some donations, and that kind of piggybacked up with the game. It's been fun to follow and watch. Anytime you're close in proximity to a number one team in the country in a sport, that is beloved, it's awesome. And to see Purdue show up and show out for them, and to be at that environment, like the Mackey goes crazy. Like it is an experience, and my kids love it. They try to go to every game. And so we do get asked for tickets all the time, and my kids are like, no, we're going. So,
are you able to use that at all for recruiting?
Yeah, so last year we utilized it a ton with some junior days, bring potential high school prospects on campus and let them feel the energy that West Lafayette has for their Purdue athletics. And Coach Painter and his staff are more than accommodating. We get to go out on the field, or we go on the court for pregame warm-ups. Yeah. And so you can only imagine, football players are not as tall as basketball players. And we have a tall basketball team, specifically a tall center.
Yes.
So when they see Zach Edey walk by, they're like, oh my gosh. And I'm like, he'd be a great left tackle, right?
That's right.
So that experience is awesome, and it just gives them an insight and a glimpse of, just how electric home events can be at Purdue, and what type of fan base and really family that Purdue Athletics has.
All right, we need to take a break. This is the Ryan Walter Show, presented by the Rohrman Automotive Group on the Purdue Global Sports Network from Learfield.
Maccabee checks into the game at running back. Card. Pump fake to the left, now looking straight down the middle of the defense and throws a touchdown. A day for the tight end so far. It's Garrett Miller.
Two running backs in the game. One goes this way, one goes this way. Fake the screen to the left, fake the screen to the right, and there's your tight end. He runs that delay tight end screen in the middle. It's a great design. Pump left, pump right, reset. There's your tight end, Garrett Miller, right down the pipe.
1st and 10. Carr has time. Carr looking toward the end zone, and this is caught for the touchdown. What a grab it was. T.J. Sheffield with a terrific route, and a penalty marker is down.
These guys block back. I'm going to kick out. You go north and south. Really nice job by the Boilermakers.
Picked up of 17. Now right after it, Carr down the field. And that is caught now inside the 10. What a play it was by Tyrone Tracy getting behind the defense. Why not give him the football? Tracy in for the touchdown.
Wow.
Straight down the field goes Purdue.
and making some timely plays with their feet throughout this game.
Maccabee gets the ball. Maccabee with the lane. Now Maccabee bursting down the sideline. It's a sprint to the end zone. Can Maccabee get there? And he is dragged down at just about the one. They're going to say he's just short. Card, keeping himself. Touchdown, Purdue. Dorm on campus. Handoff. Maccabee. They call him Crazy Legs, but Crazy Legs can run. Maccabee out across midfield. Hard guy to tackle.
The 2023 Purdue football season is presented by Purdue Global, Purdue's online university for working adults. Earn a degree you're proud of and employers respect. Start your comeback today at purdueglobal.edu. Had a question on here, Ryan, about uniforms. Is there anything new in store for 2024?
Yes, there will be brand new uniforms, home, away, and an alternate option.
That's something that players, they pay attention to that kind of stuff, don't they?
Absolutely. They've been asking me, a bunch throughout the course of the season. And so, yeah, well, obviously I don't have like a picture or a
understood.
copy,
Understood.
but I think it's a nod to the past with like a modern flair. And I think it's one that will look familiar but be new at the same time. So I'm excited about it.
One of the things we want to recap when we look back at the 2023 season was the support you got from the home crowd this year. And I think nothing showed that better than the Indiana game, where you had 2 3-8 teams coming in. It's a cold day, and you packed Ross-Ade Stadium.
Yeah, and recruits pay attention to that. Like, I don't think people understand that enough. So the fact that you guys showed support and when we were battling adversity, there were times at this season where it sucked, like it did. It was hard. You felt like you were climbing an uphill battle, and you had some things that happened that you couldn't control, and then some things that happened that you could control. So you get frustrated. That's just human nature. And so I felt, believe me, if anybody was more frustrated, there was nobody more frustrated than myself and my staff. But you could feel the frustration, and rightfully so. Because this place can and will be special and successful. And so for the fan base to continue to show up and continue to be electric and involved and engaged, like, recruits pay attention to that. The current players in the locker room pay attention to that. And I promise you, like, if it had went the other way, then we would have seen more players leave, and it would have been that much harder to gain and attract the type of talent that we were able to attract this season.
And knowing from what I've seen with your competitive nature here in the last year, that just fuels you more, because you want even more so to win for those people.
Yeah, absolutely. I was talking to one of the recruits this past weekend, just where I'm at, where he's at in terms of his career. And, I feel like people forgot who we are. So it's time to remind everybody who we are.
All right, we got one more segment of the Ryan Walters Show, presented by the Rohrman Automotive Group, coming up on the Purdue Global Sports Network from Learfield.
10 leader in sacks even after missing action last week. Sorsby on 3rd down, it's intercepted. Dylan Thieneman nearly makes Sorsby miss and is pushed out of bounds inside the 15-yard line.
Not official yet, but you can book it. Now you're going to see Sorsby under pressure. He's looking to his left. There's 2 receivers in the same place. That is never.
1st and 10. Perhen again, and he makes Dunham miss. He makes more miss, and the freshman scores for Purdue.
Open, and then it's again with the missed tackles. He should be down right there. He breaks that. He should be down right there. He breaks that, and he gets into the end zone.
Ironically, Indiana netted 2 yards even with the penalty because it took place so far downfield. 2nd and 3. Sorsby. And was it intercepted? No, it was incomplete. Kobe was the intended receiver.
What a play by Cam Allen. I mean, in the hip pocket, gets that head around and just pops that ball out into that left hand, and then that right knee hits.
Bucket game between Purdue and Indiana. Purdue ball, 3rd down in the red zone. Card deals, end zone, touchdown, Purdue! Drew Bimmer Another tight end. Personified specifically with Brendan Sorsby, the Indiana quarterback. Rough in the beginning, then red hot, then rough towards the end of the second quarter. This is a great return right here for Purdue's Dylan Downing. He's across midfield. Now they need to put their vocal cords to work and cheer on Purdue with a 4th and short, trying to keep this drive alive as we start the fourth quarter. A punt pass, Devin Mockabee, touchdown Purdue!
The Rohrman Automotive Group is supporting your Boilermakers as the presenting sponsor of the Ryan Walter Show and proud partner of Purdue Athletics. Rohrman Automotive Group, boiler up and hammer down. Thanks to everybody for tuning in tonight to our signing day special. I think next year we're going to be talking about signing day and we're going to be talking about postseason play. To get to that point, you've got to win some games in 2024. And again, the schedule as it is going to be every year now is daunting. But I think you're ready for the challenge, aren't you?
Absolutely, I better be. We better be. You know, I feel like we're poised to realize our potential and have a good off season and just continue to put our head down, go to work, and trust the process. But yeah, I feel very confident, extremely confident going into next year.
You know, we've talked about the fan support. They've got some great matchups next year to watch. Notre Dame comes back to Ross-Ade Stadium. We've got the Oregon Ducks coming in. Penn State will be in here. Again, great schedule and you know, with the Big Ten now, you got those 4 teams, USC, UCLA, Washington, and Oregon. You're going to have challenges every year. You're going to have to go out to the West Coast once every year. And so, you know, I think programs now in the Big Ten have 2 choices, either get better or you're going to be in for some long seasons.
Absolutely.
In general.
Absolutely, which is why I'm so grateful for the support we've had really the last 2.5, 3 weeks.
I didn't ask you, what's the Walters family plan for the holiday season? You've got at least a few days off, right?
Yeah, I told them this is last time we'll be sitting at home for the holidays, so we enjoy it. But I'm meeting my family in Scottsdale, Arizona for a good long week, get some sunshine, play a little golf, and continue to recruit.
Ryan, we're excited about 2024. Thank you for what you've built here this year. The foundation is there. Now let's have some success next season.
Hell yeah, boiler up.
I like that idea. Wes Scott, our engineer. Our producer tonight, Ryan Clark. Video producer is McCarty Cummings. Again, the Boilermakers will open play against Indiana State coming next September. We look forward to seeing you. We want to thank the head coach for being here all season long. We want to thank walk-ons for supporting us as well. Tim Newton coming to you from the Purdue Memorial Union. You've been watching and listening to the Ryan Walter Show, presented by the Rohrman Automotive Group on the Purdue Global Sports Network from Learfield.